Today's guest used to do magic tricks when he was young, and while pursuing hypnosis, he accidentally contacted beings with messages to humanity for ascension. Let's welcome today's guest, Sam the Illusionist. Welcome, Sam.
Yeah, thank you, Adam, for inviting me to your show, and thank you to all the listeners who are listening to this interaction. I hope you learned something valuable about your own spiritual journey and about life in general.
Yeah. As we go through these new challenging times or these awakenings, many people have been able to enlighten themselves with new concepts of, listening to different people like yourself speak about people ascending and opening up to a higher energy, higher vibration. You yourself started this path, as you said, doing hypnosis, so to speak, or maybe before that. Maybe you could just give the audience a little bit of a background of where you come from and how you came on this path.
Yeah, actually, I was practicing magic, like street magic. I used to perform magic, and I was introduced to hypnosis. It was a field of trying to find out the power of the subconscious mind. And I was learning street hypnosis as well as stage hypnosis. So I was using, the various inductions. That's what they call in hypnosis. It's there are methods, which can be used to put people into trance state. And from the trance state, you can actually access the subconscious mind. So that is basically what hypnosis really is. And hypnosis, uses several methods to reach into the subconscious mind so that we can send suggestions to the mind of the person who is in front of us, and we are doing the techniques on them. And I used to do this on other people, right? Because I was practicing, and one day, like I was just listening to self hypnosis tape, just for relaxing, because I was lying on my bed and relaxing. And then my mother told me, after I woke up, that I was like someone was talking through me. Okay, like it was not me, because the voice was different. Because if you see my channeling, you can definitely make out that it is not me, because the not only the vocabulary but also the style which they use, my body as an instrument to speak is a bit weird. At first, I didn't believe what my mother was saying, but then the second time I told her to record it using a camera. I have a GoPro camera which I press record, and then I went into the same trance state, and then I found out that I received a message, and the message actually came in the form of, I had whatever problem I had, if I was thinking about the problem constantly in my mind, they whenever I went into the trance, they could pick up that question or the problem I had, and then they gave me a suggestion, and I was like, okay, let me try it, right? So at first, I could not believe what was happening with me. I thought, maybe I had some problems, like my mother said, I need to visit the doctor, right? So I went to the doctor, and here, in India, they don't know about channeling. So the doctor said that I have to take some medications for psychosis. That's what the doctor labeled it as. But
Wow.
the funny thing is, I did not like take any medication, because I wanted to, the thing was, it only happened in the trance state. It never happened in a normal. Otherwise, it doesn't. That connection isn't made. So I wanted to know what is going on here, because this is my life. I just don't want to take medications and all that without like researching. So I started to do some research, and then I found out that through the internet, there are many people in the world. They do something known as channeling. So it made a lot of sense that I was channeling, like, wow, yeah, this is what is happening with me. And then I started to, like, understand what is actually happening. And then I started to realize that, slowly and steadily, I received the messages from them. And sometimes I used to have dreams of these beings. They used to come to me in my dream state, and they used to tell me to channel, and then I used to channel, and then I received messages, and I just started sharing it on my YouTube, which was weird. If you just if you just think about it, I used to do magic and I was performing, and then suddenly when I started posting, people started saying I was crazy, or so I don't know, that's what they thought in the beginning. But then somehow the message resonated with a lot of I believe it actually resonated with the inner soul of a person, because when you listen to the message, you actually know it is true. And then somehow, yeah, this is how I ended up doing channeling.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I interview different people, and recently it's been more about people channeling. And I read the
I see.
yeah, I read the Akashic records. So,
Wow.
in terms of accessing that plane or that information in the astral plane, um, I know that I see images that come through, or I'll see scenes that I download. So, how would you describe a channeling experience for yourself in terms of what you're exactly experiencing through you?
During the channeling state, to be frank, I don't remember anything. Like, I just what I just do is, like it's like a sleep state. Like in sleep, like you can see the dream. While you are dreaming, you can see the dream. You can be a part of the dream. But then when you wake up, like it just seems to go away, right? It's same kind of thing. I believe it is something is happening with the state of mind. So my mind actually enters into this like sleep like state, delta state, I believe. And then when I wake up, it's like alpha or beta. It's just I cannot remember anything. So the the experience pretty much is like a sleep, like dream state.
Is there a form of surrender on your part that you feel takes place, or there's just a matter of trust in your subconscious mind? Because some people, when, let's say, for example, like yourself, you had this experience, some people's egos wouldn't be able to handle the overwhelm of somebody's information coming through you. So, I mean, as
Yeah.
we're speaking now, obviously you're going to have these experiences further down the line. So how does the conscious mind communicate with yourself now and say, all right, when tonight comes or when this takes place, like, what's the inner voice or the inner communication?
Pretty much, like what I realized was that, the first few sessions I did, and they had given me suggestions, in the session, because I was thinking about the problem over and over again. And then the suggestions, it actually worked. So from that day on, even my, conscious mind, like knows that this is like, whatever comes through is valuable. So it has no like, no problems.
Yeah, it's interesting because
Yeah.
getting back to the Akashic records, when you're accessing a person or reading somebody's information, you don't know the person, right? And then you're asking questions and contacting their guides and masters to pass the information on. So I understand the concept. In terms of channeling specific entities, people, masters, guys, who are you channeling specifically?
Specifically, I have a few entities, who I have made connection with my vibration, like the Galactic Federation. We have the Pleiadians. We have Ra Collective. We have Syrians, Arcturians, and Aster. Sometimes I receive from Aster Command messages. Like yeah, those are the few I have been able to connect, and Archangel Michael as well, and Metatron also.
In receiving this information, are you then able to translate the experience on the human plane of meeting people, seeing people that have these characteristics or traits that you, or the energies that you feel, or is it they're above everything? Is there a connection between the
Uh,
human
uh,
experience and?
yeah, yeah, yeah. These beings, actually, from my understanding, like many times I have experienced them. I just remember them to be like beings of light. They have actually transcended any kind of physicality, and for them, this reality, they have already like overcome this challenging catalytic reality of this illusion where we live in, which may be sometimes difficult for many people to handle, because it gives us many challenges. These beings have actually transcended this reality of earth, and they are actually in a higher density and dimension, they are learning about their own lessons. It seems that they are also on their own journey. Like um, we will reach there in the future eventually, to the level they are at. Every one of us. Yeah.
Yeah, if people aren't familiar, I mean, many people who would watch this would have a somewhat of an understanding if they would be interested in it to begin with. However, many people don't recognize the fact that the human body, our soul, is encompassed in this dense body, and that holds our soul, encompasses it, and giving us the opportunity for us to have a human experience through mobility, through human interaction. Um, and through my experience of interviewing people who've had near-death experiences, they speak about how they feel lighter. Uh, they're obviously able to move around and rise above the physical body itself. In your experience, or if you've had contact, are these masters, teachers, entities in a certain dimension?
Yeah. Yeah, these beings, they exist in, uh, dimension. Many, some of them, they exist in like the sixth density, which is like, I believe, the seventh dimension. The thing about dimension, I had channeled once. Basically, they refer using density of consciousness. So let me give you a basic understanding. What they said is like, density of consciousness is that is the amount of conscious energy which a being has uh, in a particular bodily complex. And the more more consciousness you have, the more higher density being you become. So we are at the third density right now. That's what they refer. And ultimately we will merge our vibration together in the new earth, uh, in the fourth density, and we'll have a collection of consciousness. So our consciousness will become more dense. So the more the density of consciousness, the higher the density of the being. So dimension, what they've said is we can actually, our limitation in this physical body is we can only exist in third dimension, but the beings higher above, right? So once they reach the density of light, the density of love and wisdom, they are able to actually exist in any dimension. And dimension, it is possible for them to enter into second dimension, the 2D world, the 3D world, the 4D, the 5D world, fifth dimension. That's what they say. They can enter into any dimension, but the thing is, they basically refer using density in order to avoid confusion. The higher the number of density, the higher consciousness they have in a particular location. That's what I understand. So they can exist in any dimension, basically, at the higher level.
We speak about it. You speak about ascension. For the people who are not familiar with ascension, in terms of rising above the 3D matrix itself, um, how does a person raise their level of vibration to, for example, like yourself, you're actually in that matrix, contacting these beings themselves while having a physical experience on this earthly plane. So in essence, you're climbing multidimensionally with your energy to an area, or is the channel, or do they meet you someplace specifically?
Yeah, actually, what happens is that during channeling, like I have to connect through my astral body, like because when we are in our dream state, I don't know if many viewers may have realized this, we can, enter into any timeline with our dream body, with our astral body. We can enter into any timeline. We can experience flying. We can experience being on Mars. Anything is possible. So with that I can connect with these beings because that is the astral body, which is unlimited. It can experience any time. There is no time for the astral body, because in your dream, you may also experience future timeline. You may also experience your past timeline. And the thing about like raising the vibration, what I have noticed is that it's a gradual process. Some people take a lot of time to actually find out that they are in a matrix. The matrix, I find that what they have said is, everything we see around us is actually not real. Like everything that we are seeing actually exists in the past. That's what they have said. And if you just think logically, also that is true, because whatever we are seeing, we are perceiving light, and light also has a certain speed. Even science says that light takes 8 minutes to reach from the sun to the earth. So whenever we are seeing anything, it is entering our eyes and our brain is processing. So in a way, we are not living in the present. It is ultimately a little bit slower than the actual reality. And the matrix, it is designed to actually teach us to ultimately connect with our true self, which lies beyond our mind, beyond our thoughts, beyond our images, beyond our body, and it lies with our soul. That is what I learned from my channeling. And the best way to do this, is through experience, right? In the beginning, people may find that they react with the outside world. Whenever they find someone who may be rude to them, who may be angry towards them, let's say, for example, they may also react in the same manner. But what is happening is that when they do that, they are reacting to the matrix in a way, that is trying to like push their buttons. But raising the vibration means that you become so immune that you're not affected. Even if someone says bad things to you, you're like, it doesn't affect you, like it just bounces right off of you.
Right.
That's what I feel like. When you raise your vibration, you actually become immune to fear, and you become immune to the lower emotions, basically. Yeah, that's from my experience, that's what I learned. And yeah, I believe it's different for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, it's inspiring because in essence you're a lighthouse for information, like an antenna to receive certain information. Do you think other people are capable of trying that, or is a person specifically become an open channel for that information? So in other words, does a person work on it, or does a person just naturally fall upon this?
Yeah, Adam, like, to tell you the truth, it just happened naturally to me. I never, I never knew about channeling. Okay, so
Right.
frankly speaking, when this happened, I was like clueless what was happening, and I never heard about channeling. That word, I had never heard about it in my life. In my 27 years of my life, right now I'm 30, so it's been almost 2.5 years of channeling. Before that, I had never heard about it, never seen anywhere. Like, this is weird because in India, it's a very conservative society. People actually don't know about this a lot. So I was clueless, and I think like some people, they can train to become a channel as well. But ultimately, if I think it's a soul's pathway as well, because I have also channeled, asking about why they chose me to be a messenger. And they said that because my soul had made a soul contract to leave at the age of 27 for another soul, which is from a higher density, and which whose message was to spread this message to people at this time as a wanderer. And it's very sometimes it's very like unusual. Like, I mean, I don't know how it happened, but I mean, it's good. Like, I learned a lot of things, and I think I helped some people.
Yeah,
There.
I'm sure. It's interesting, like you speak of people who have near-death experiences who aren't on the correct path. They wind up choosing a profession that doesn't really suit their soul's purpose. And then they have an experience that changes them where they hear a message from spirit or from an entity or alien beings that guide them into what they're supposed to be doing. Um, and then you have people who anatomically also, in my opinion, have the capacity to receive that information, have the fine tuning to be able to decipher the information that comes in and then be able to, verbalize it like yourself. So there is a gift in it, in it naturally, if a person's, falls upon that particular uh, skill in the timeline. Um, with your channeling, how has the experience been with socially? In other words, a lot of times when we go on the ascension journey, right, many times people have become isolated and feel alone. People don't understand one. They change their lifestyle from being social in some ways to maybe more withdrawn. How has it impacted your life, positively or negatively?
Yeah, yeah, brother. Adam, same thing happened with me. Like, I used to be extremely social, like, because like performing artists, like magicians, they have to be social. I used to be extremely social. I used to have a lot of friends. But when I started to channel, my vibration, somehow shifted a little bit. And I mean, everything changed. Like not only I do not want to go out right now. I am just happy, just in my home, maybe meditating or trying to channel or help other people, talking to people like you, and other star seeds, or light workers around the world. And it's a complete change. And also not only that, but also the eating habits as well, as well as some of the desires which I had, they just vanished, because I realized that many of the desires which I had before were just ultimately an illusion of this reality. It didn't really make sense. But what truly makes sense is when you understand about your spiritual self, and when you do your spiritual work. I think this is the highest work. And not just that, but this will survive even when we cross over or when we die. Because I think whatever we achieve in our world, we will have to leave it behind. But whatever we do on a spiritual level, whatever we learn, whatever good actions we do, whatever like things we master or reach a higher vibration, we will take that when we cross over. And I think I'm really happy, in a good way. Like I'm very happy that basically, to be frank, none of my friends, none of my family members, they truly understand what I'm saying. So we don't like talk about this usually. And the interaction also, when the vibration change, it becomes minimal. So because we cannot like resonate, something happens, like you when a vibration changes, you no longer resonate with some people. And even with information, like you begin to take in different information, watch different things. Like it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. People had near death experiences where that shift takes place. Some people have that powerful energetic shift that they either have energetic work done, or they go through trauma, and then their soul, somehow dislodges itself in a way from the body. But those people who experience that trauma, they come back in, and they have the capacity to expand to a greater level. I know for myself, relationships fall off, the people who no longer resonate with one. And then you go through a feeling of isolation, and then I think you take in all the information you possibly can that resonates at such a high frequency, and all the information from all the universal forces and guidance. And then I think in order to ground yourself again in a spiral way, as you climb up, you revisit it again, the earthly um, values, but without the materialistic needs of having the fancy car or the big house. Uh, but you're always tempted with that in order to have this human experience. And I think from your experience, as you speak about how the sensation of knowing that we go beyond this body, and many people don't know that, they feel they have to take the money and run with it and say, well, this is all I have, and you better not touch it. And when you have the attitude you have, I think then you realize that we are more than our body. And I think it makes it much easier for us to pass from one dimension to the next, even if we have a sense of fear. Maybe you could share with the audience a little bit about some of the messages you specifically receive from your channeling that are relevant to today's, and from who they come from, if you can share.
Yeah. I have channeled a lot. Few of the things which I remember, and I'll tell you. But since I have channeled so much, and I forget, like from which session it came from. But still, I'll tell you, some of the basic, like things which have helped me in my life. Like I think that will be extremely valuable to the viewer. So one of the things, that like I learned in the sorry, the light just went. Can I
That's
still
okay.
continue with like?
I still hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You're
So
still
sorry.
Sam the Illusionist.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, the light just went. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So a few things I learned. One of the thing was that we need to whenever we are like trying to meditate, or whenever we are trying to calm our mind. Actually, it is our consciousness. The awareness point is shifting so much, because social media nowadays, it has made our attention span so low that we are not able to focus our attention in one point for an extended period of time. And one of the things they taught was to just like be aware of your of one point of awareness. Like for example, just be aware of the right eye blinking. Just continuously be aware of that. Don't let any thoughts take away your attention. Just be aware of that. And this exercise, I found out was really magical in helping to ground the individual into this the sense that they are greater than the body. Okay, so this was one of the exercises which I found really valuable. And the other one which I found really interesting was many people, like they struggle with manifestations, right? They have a lot of questions. They want to learn how to manifest, and they are stuck in trying to like practice a lot of techniques. I have found out from my sessions, and I've also even applied this in my life, that one of the best ways to manifest is to actually do something really good. Like for example, you can practice giving at least like 10% of your income whenever you receive it to the poor person, right, or to other people to help them. It sounds really counterintuitive, but when we do this, like something happens with the universe. The universe itself like will grant your desires. Whatever you have desired, the universe will give it back to you, even multiplied. I have sometimes done this myself. I remember giving someone like $100 like 6 months ago, and then after 6 months someone sends me like $5,000, like just out of nowhere, like thank you.
Wow, wow,
Person says
wow.
thank you so much, and I was like, wait a minute, something is going on here. So I also applied this in my life, and it does work. And this is, I believe, one of the things that is missing in manifestation. And most people, they teach us only the techniques, but they don't actually teach us the action we can take, like by creating positive karmic imbalance. That is what they say. And then there is another one which I learned really fascinating, was about how to remain in a higher state of emotion, or a higher vibration state of consciousness, right? So what they have said is that normally we what happens is that we store our emotions in our lower chakras, the red ray, the chakras in our stomach area, if people are familiar. We store our emotions over there, and these emotions, they can be manipulated by our reactions to the outside world. Sometimes we react negatively, we store a negative emotion over here, and we can release that with a simple process, and that is by using a fake smile. Like whenever you can just the audience can just try to make a fake smile, like stretch them out, and somehow, yeah, like Adam is doing, somehow like you'll feel good out of, and like no way you'll feel good, because this is subconsciously attached with something good happening to you. And I use this in my life. It has like changed my life, and I feel like really good all the time. So if people are struggling with like not feeling good, maybe they're feeling a range of emotions, then try this technique. It's really amazing. And yeah, these are the like teachings which I have applied. A vast amount of teachings. I have around 200 sessions. So some people may find some other teachings valuable. So these are the, yeah, my best.
Yeah, that's interesting with regards to smiling. I mean, there's a person by the name of Montauk Chia who works uh, in terms of using the internal organs and smiling to each specific organ itself to send neural energy to the via neural pathways from the brain to create a better energetic flow to those organs so that they're more in harmony, that we're more in harmony with our bodies itself. Um, you speak about the different channeling and the different messages that are brought forth for us. So many people are doubters based upon how they've been raised in their homes and how what society reinforces. But in terms of the work that you're doing, and the ability for you to pass on information is a true gift, and it's very inspiring for people. Where do you see yourself going with regards to the work that you're going to continue to do from in the future?
Yeah, yeah, brother. Actually, I will actually like follow whatever the universe or the creator has planned for me, because this actually was not my plan, to channel beings. I never thought I would be doing this, but it came out to be my soul's purpose in this life. So I don't know where the universe, what the next plan is, but I'll give my best. I try to be service to others as much as possible. And yeah, that's future, like it's totally
Yeah. Is
my higher self. Yeah.
is there any information that you received? In other words, a lot of times people don't want to commit themselves to sharing specific, not predictions itself, but is there anything, and there's no commitment to the things you say, but is there any specific messages of what will happen in the future? And just before we even, if you answer that, and you answered it a little bit before, it's interesting you said that we're, we haven't caught up to the future, right? In other words, the future almost already has happened, and so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because I always tell people when a person does a psychic reading, they already know what's happening because it already happened, so to speak. And
Yeah,
we haven't caught up to the experience of it. And so, I mean, of course, we have free will to change our future in some capacity, right? Other than fate, but there is some type of present moment manifesting into the future. But getting back to the question of uh, any specific things with regards to what's specifically happening in the world today with finances, with the war. Have you received any specific types of information on any of these specific things?
yeah, brother. I have received like many messages about the future. Like they have said that basically, like the future of humanity is dependent upon each individual's choice. Like each individual can at any moment, they can choose love instead of fear, and they can choose a higher vibration such as joy or happiness instead of any other lower vibration emotion. And whenever someone does that, naturally the entire collective will shift, because like Adam, you, by sharing positive messages, you're affecting so many people through your social media, and you do not know how many people actually like change their vibration because of you. And the same thing is with me. Like whenever I change a vibration, some people may get inspired. They may change their vibration and they may do something positive. And that is how I believe the future of humanity is completely dependent on the present moment choices we make. But ultimately, they have said that there are many timelines that we can enter into based on the choices we will make. However, they have stated many times in my sessions that uh, you know 2000 till the year 2030, we will have a lot of like this kind of conflict, which we see happening right now. Like the people, the negative entities and the people, elites, who are using negative vibrations to control other people. This will, like escalate for some time, and then ultimately in the year 2030, they have said that there will be a great solar flash, or a grand solar flash, which will ultimately, uh, embark Earth into the new Earth fourth density vibration. And at that point, all the negativity will be destroyed by the light of the solar flash, and we will have to see, like what will happen in the future. But ultimately, like you said, it all boils down to the present moment. And by choosing love instead of fear, I believe that is the best way that we will enter into a positive vibration, not only for an individual level but also for a collective consciousness.
Yeah, that's excellent words and great information. And I like what you said before, which I didn't speak about, which was actually the ability to give and to expand your level of reception or receiving by being in that state of giving, of gratitude and grace. And I think
Yeah.
through my experience that's happened as well. I've always had the desire to give uh, and not worry about what a person is doing with the money. If a person has a drinking problem or is a person standing by the side of the road, I always look at it as it's a
Yeah.
person's path and they're on their path and they'll have to figure it out themselves. And my giving has no impact on what they do or don't do with the great gratitude I'm giving towards them. So I think it's
Exactly.
interesting for you here as you speak here. Your body is not here, see, and your soul is talking because we don't see you. So And this is a perfect,
Yeah, yeah.
you faded out at the right time to show people that an information is coming through, but who's talking, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah.
s- in terms of your channeling work, is there a specific person, a master that you would like to contact or be contacted by? Is there somebody that you emulate or think of that you haven't heard from?
You know, actually, that channeling, all the beings that I possibly can.
Yeah,
And I would like to, like, one day, since right now, I am channeling mostly the beings who are in the sixth and the seventh density. So one day, like, maybe, if it is allowable for me to channel even a higher density being, like maybe even channel the one infinite creator, the one who, like, is within us all and
right.
is everywhere. And also, we came from that source. So that being, like, would be fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, when you speak about when you just spoke about the dimensional beings and where they're located, do they tell you which dimension they're located in, or you have to look that up and find what in terms of find that information out?
Yeah, actually, many a times, Galactic Federation, they said that they are in the Saturn rings, uh, in the they're in the seventh density consciousness. So they say that they are located in the Saturn rings.
Yeah,
And I think, like, they exist in the form of light, so we cannot see them, but obviously their purpose is to protect the planet. And other beings, they also send us messages about their location. Like, when I'm channeling the Pleiadians, they may see they are from Alcyone, which is actually a star system in that, or from any from other star system as well, they may say that. And yeah, they do tell the location, many a times. Yeah.
that's interesting. I did an Akashic record reading, and I heard we are from the Saturn rings. I don't know if it was I
Wow.
don't. Yeah, I heard that as well. I don't know. I don't know what my question was, but when I did the Akashic record reading, I heard around the rings of Saturn. They somebody lived in the rings of Saturn, so I assume as you speak,
Wow.
the Galactic Force, or is it the Ashtar Command, or I don't remember what my question was, but I did receive that. I saw that
Wow.
in the reading. Yeah. Um,
That's interesting. Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
that was interesting. But in terms of knowing a dimension or not, I wouldn't get that information. But that information was passed on. In certain galaxies or races, or certain times, I hear certain things if I ask a question, if I surrender to it. A lot of times, I find the difficulty I find is my ego gets in the way. So I find it intriguing and inspiring the ability for you and others like you who are able to just be an open channel and not and surrender to the information without stopping it or without
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to understand it. Um, if somebody was interested in reaching out to you or work with you, if you channel for them, or maybe the services
Yeah.
you offer, maybe you could just share a little bit about that.
Yeah. Basically, many times, people ask me for their own soul's journey, because they want to know where they came from, their past incarnations, and sometimes they ask for, suggestions from their higher self. So I do channel for them, and they can reach me via my email, like Sam the Illusionist one @ gmail.com. And also, I also have a separate community on my Patreon. Also on Sam the Illusionist, where I have almost 350 extra sessions of channeling. Some of them are censored sessions, which YouTube doesn't allow to share. So if someone wants to go into deep, like deep end of this stuff and find out more, they can access this over there. And basically, like, other stuff is freely available on my YouTube channel, Sam the Illusionist, which you can check over there.
Absolutely. So I'll share all that information on the YouTube video, and I'll share the video with you. I guess you can post it.
Awesome.
What I just wanted to
Yeah.
say is if you can leave maybe the audience with like one message of something they can take with them um, about your experience, about what they can do about life.
Yeah. Just in every day, like, just be self-aware. Where you are, and just see which events triggered you the most, which creates fear, or which events creates thought forms of thinking about the future. And just try to just be self-aware, because this journey is about self-awareness. No one can actually teach you. We are just here to spread the message, and hopefully you will become self-aware enough to apply it in your life. And also the best thing is, some people, they ask for evidence. I say to them, just apply the teachings and you'll see the results. And that is the best evidence which no one can give you. And yeah, that's the message.
All right. So I'd like to thank you for joining me today and sharing this little time that we had with one another. It was very inspiring for me, and I'm sure it's very inspiring for the audience. You cut out a little bit in terms of seeing you, but your strength and your voice comes through, and your soul and spirit are strong. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Adam, thank you so much for inviting me. And I send everyone love, light, and positive blessings to you.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Yeah.